there everyone, Rosepal here, and welcome back to It's a Rerun, where cartoons continue to be awesome. Joining me here is Computer. Say hello to the viewers, Computer. Today, I will be doing a countdown of my top 10 personal favorite episodes of Dexter's Laboratory. If you haven't seen the review already, the link is in the description. Computer, let's get a monitor over here, please. So, let's get this party started. Number 10. Star-Spangled Sidekicks. A great way to start off this countdown by looking at an episode where we learn a great moral about being a superhero. Dexter and Dee Dee enter a competition to become the next sidekick of their favorite superhero and leader of the Justice Friends, Major Glory. This is one of the episodes where Dexter and Dee Dee show off their competitive sides to their characters. Dexter creates a fancy costume and a superhero persona by the name of Dexter with the help of his laboratory, whilst Dee Dee is making her costume the more creative and simple way with the use of the sewing machine and her mom's gloves, as her persona is called by Diva Dynamite. They show off their costumes at the tryouts, and after an inspiring speech from Dee Dee about why she wants to be a sidekick, with a great reference to one of the American anthems, Star-Spangled Banner, which is one of my personal favorite moments from Dee Dee, Major Glory chooses her to be his new sidekick. But after a battle with his enemy Dr. Diablos, she decides to stay and care for Dexter after he saves her life. Being a superhero is not about having the best costume, but it's about protecting the ones you care about and having a true spirit of a hero, with courage, optimism, and fighting for justice. And what Dexter and Dee Dee demonstrated at the end of this episode is that they look out for each other no matter what they do from time to time, even through dark times. And that's what it's all about. Number 9. A Boy Named Sue. With this episode, you can understand why Mandog is one of my all-time favorite villains. Whenever Mandog appears, you are desperate for a backstory of him, and this episode ticks that box. It is revealed that Mandog was born in a place known as Flowertopia, a paradise for peace and harmony, interesting for a birthplace for a young evil scientist. It is also where we are introduced to Mandog's parents for the first time, Windbear and Oceanbird, voiced by Jacqueline Bennett and Cap Susie, who also provide the voices of Dexter's parents. Their characters are based on a romantic pairing of John Lennon and Yoko Ono, which is really interesting, and they are hippies who enjoy the peace and harmony in the world. Jeff is so awesome voicing the hippie father of Mandog. He is so amazing at playing different voices, including Action Dexter and Ego Trip. Sorry. Anyway, we also learn of how Mandog became evil in the first place. As soon as he was born, he was hit with a bolt of lightning. And his real name... Susan! Sorry, it's just that it is a funny name for a boy like Mandog, and so embarrassing. Windbear and Oceanbird try all sorts of different things to cure Mandog of his evil desires, but in the end, it is of no use. I feel so sorry for them. Oceanbird and Windbear moved out of their town and into the neighborhood where Mandog lives now. Susan tried to make friends with Dexter, but he laughed at him for being girly. Susan was so angry about being made fun of and that he decided to become an evil genius named Mandog, and wanted only to destroy Dexter's laboratory too. I admire this episode for character development of Mandog and his parents, and is delving deeper into his past. Full marks for that one. Number 8. Glove at First Sight. What's another backstory episode, this time where love and romance are parts of the plot? Here it is. This time we delve into the story of how Dexter and Dee Dee's parents first met and fell in love. The episode dates back to 1984, where loads of interesting events happened in our world, like Elton John played at Wembley Arena, the Olympics being held in California, and the launch of the Terminator franchise. We see Dexter's mom and dad in their younger years in a health clinic, an unlikely place for two people to meet. Mom tries to conquer her fear of germs, whilst Dad is the test subject for her study. After a series of tests which ended badly, Dad decides to change his image from totally gross to totally hot. He takes Mom to the New Year's dance-a-thon for a dance competition, and they win not only the prize, but also their unconditional love for each other. And as a token of their love, Dad gives Mom the yellow glove she wears. This episode hits the nail on the love story than the other love story episodes I have seen over the years, and the character developments of Dexter's parents was so unique, as they were totally cool in 80s style and looks. and they are two of my favorite cartoon parents of all time. Let's see what's next. Number 7. The Lab of Tomorrow. This episode is a parody of Through the Keyhole that used to air in England, where we look at what the laboratory of each character will be like in the future. The clever thing about this episode is that Monkey is the one who narrates it all. Genius! The animation was really creative as Monkey goes through what each lab can be used in the future, especially Dexter's lab, and there were bits of comedy here and there, including the use of old Wild Western movies to see if they were live on other planets, and the use of a real mouse to help control the computer mouse. I see what they did there. Overall, this was a fun and creative filler and documentary-esque episode to take a break from all the action, adventure and science fiction episodes in between. Number 6. The Muffin King. This episode delves into another part of Dad's character. He really likes muffins, like a certain grey Pegasus mare we know. This is a trait which is both good and bad to Dad, as we see in this episode, especially in the opening scene when Mom makes a muffin recipe and Dad tries to distract her, a funny parallel to how Dexter and Dee Dee interact in the lab every day. So when Mom explains to Dexter and Dee Dee that Dad will try to get anything to get the muffins, she enlists their help to guard them until she gets back from the shops. Dad tries lots of ways to get to the muffins, including dressing up as Mom. But Dexter and Dee Dee catches him in the act each time, similar to how Candace tries to bust Phineas and Ferb. Now we see a scene similar to Homer's Land of Chocolate Fantasy in the Simpsons episode Burns for Carpenter Craftwork, where Dad enters the land of muffins and becomes the Muffin King, hence the episode's title. However, after when the squirrel steals the muffins, Dan learns a valuable lesson in responsibility, where he gets the muffins back from it. And with this he gets a muffin for his reward. Great use of fantasy and comedy throughout. If you want to see another parody episode that pays homage to a great cartoon in days of old, here's this next episode. Number 5. Dexter's Wacky Races. Now this was an episode full of enjoyment, entertainment value, and excitement. We have all heard of the famous Hanna-Barbera show Wacky Races, right? Well, this episode is a great homage to that great cartoon. In this episode, we see Dexter, Mad Dog, Dee Dee and Cousy, Mom and Dad, Windbear and Oceanbird, Monkey and Honeydew, and the Justice Friends take part in their own wacky race to Burbank, California. We immediately get some comparisons to the characters from Wacky Races, including Dexter being similar to Professor Pat Pending, and Mad Dog to Dick Dastardly and occasionally Muttley. This episode is high on the list because of the great gimmicks and comedy. There was a scene that really showed these aspects, when Dee Dee, Dexter, Cousy, Monkey, Agent Honeydew and the Justice Friends all get trapped in a seemingly long tunnel, only they all discover it was a trap set by Mad Dog. Honey came to realize was a great use of breaking the fourth wall, courtesy of Cousy, explaining the use of the repeat pan technique. And this was an example of good animation where most of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons use this technique, being set with any character running from place to place. This is what I call an awesome reference, and this was a really fun episode.
So ends another exciting episode of Dexter's Wacky Races. Good night, folks.
Number 4. Blonde Leading the Blonde. A great slice of life episode which gives a lesson about having fun where you least expect it, or in this case, with your hair. In this episode, Dexter refuses to admit that blondes have more fun after a conversation with Dee Dee. So to make him see what happens, Dee Dee dyes Dexter's hair blonde. The next day, unknowing the change in his hairstyle, Dexter goes through the bestest day ever in his life, from launching a space mission to playing a basketball game. In the end, although Dexter was surprised to see that his hair color was changed, he admits that Dee Dee was right. Sometimes we want to stay inside, but we want to get out more often and do things we haven't done before. And Dexter wouldn't mind doing this more often, even though he has to leave the lab in order to follow these pursuits. This relates to me in some ways because since I started meeting up with my friends at the group I go to every weekend, we do all sorts of cool things, like going out on trips and broaden my own experiences. Now the next episode shows why I am also a fan of music in so many ways. Number 3. Just an old-fashioned lab song. This episode reminds me of the old days when I played both keyboard and piano. Not only that, this episode has a celebrity guest voice, and one of the best ones I had ever seen done in a cartoon. I'll save that for shortly. Anyway, Dexter's parents decided that he should take piano lessons, and the teacher just happens to be Paul Williams, one of the greatest singers and songwriters of all time, and famously wrote the songs of Bugsy Malone and The Muppet Movie. As part of his first lesson, Professor Williams, yes, that's his cool character, tries to teach Dexter the art of the arpeggio. Williams is unfazed by Dexter's reluctance to play, and tells him to practice arpeggios until their next lesson. Seasons pass and Dexter does not improve at all, though he does make any attempt at doing so. Come the time of their next lesson, Dexter is busy working in his laboratory. Professor Williams enters Dexter's room in search for him. He unwittingly comes across a scanning device that grants access to the laboratory. Due to his diminished stature, identical to Dexter's height, he is mistaken for Dexter and granted entry into his lab. Once inside, Williams is amazed by Dexter's massive laboratory, though Dexter immediately tries to show him out. Williams points out to him that with the skills of maths and science, Dexter has mastered the arpeggio. And this comes as an inspiration to my favorite part of the episode, the musical number, Breathe in the Sunshine.
Step up to your console, create some music, and breathe in the good sunshine.
Man, I absolutely love this song. Tom Cheats in the music department really worked wonder with this, as both Dexter and Williams bounce off each other as they play the piano in one of his inventions, and produce a great harmony to each other. And this is what I also like about Paul Williams. His character was a great addition to the cast as a guest character, similar to how I enjoyed Weird Al Yankovic as Cheese Sandwich and John Delancey as Discord in MLP. As a whole, Williams has become an inspiration to Dexter and myself as I listen to some of his songs. With this episode, this is one of the classics I can watch time and time again. You think the musical interlude was over? Well, think again.
And breathe in the good sunshine.
Number 2. Libretto. This full-on musical episode done in opera is a real gem for me. This episode basically tells the story of the origins of Dexter and his laboratory. The animation is really impressive here, as it made it look like a full-on stage production. The cast was amazing in their singing debuts here, especially Dexter, Dee Dee, and their parents. It follows the opera formula with happiness and excitement with the birth of Dexter in his lab, and ends with sadness after Dee Dee destroys the lab.
With my sister, Dee Dee.
Oh god, this episode was just incredible. I'm sorry if I'm crying. Now I know how Record feels about the Christmas special of Pinky and the Brain. This episode was one of my all-time favorite episodes on the entire show, and I see it time and time again like other episodes I watch. And with this episode, we had the awesome See Me, Feel Me, Know Me episode from Powerpuff Girls. That's why I love this show so much. Okay, now with that out of the way, it is time to find out what the top episode of Dexter's Lab I enjoy so much. And that is... Number 1. Last but not least. An awesome action-packed story with references, heartwarming moments, and battles galore is why this episode is at the top spot. During a trip to Japan as part of a student exchange program, Dexter accidentally releases a giant monster with an axe-like head from a volcano, forcing him to enlist the aid of his entire family in order to defeat it. This episode, an awesome spoof of anime and the series Power Rangers, is the show's first full episode-length story, with a huge reference to Japanese popular culture, and also features a cast of the Justice Friends and Dial In for Monkey in battle against the monster. We also get a great moral from the Japanese boy Toshi, about courage and standing together, and that what made the family with the help of Monkey to defeat the monster together. In this episode, Dexter finally reveals about his love to his parents in order to get their help, but he erases it from their memories after defeating the monster. He also finds out his lab monkey is a superhero, but Monkey erases this from his memory, including the whole battle against the monster at the end of the episode. In a short cameo, Mandar believes that he defeated the monster, which upsets Dexter. Only Dee Dee and Monkey know what really happened. This was an episode full of tasteful references and cool action sequences, such as the Dexter's family vehicles transforming into a Megazord, and the cool Go Dexter Family Go song to go with it. Luckily, it had a sequel episode in Season 3, So, that was my top 10 favorite Dexter's Lab episode countdown. What do you guys think? Are there any other episodes of Dexter's Lab you enjoyed to watch? Let me know down in the comments below. So with that, I am Rosepal saying see you later everyone, and I've watched it, you've seen it, it's a rerun.